All right, so this video we're going to be discussing the psychology of taking profits, and it's a few key concepts. But basically, the first one is moonbag. So this is where you let's say you buy a coin, and then you make your ROI back and then some. So if a coin goes up 300%, you take out your initial investment plus a little bit on top, and then anything that's left over, you leave it in there because you think it still has room to run, or you're okay with gambling it. Either way, it's kind of just like a bag that you leave, assuming it'll go to the moon, hence moon bag. The second one is predictability. So this is the idea of making small, predictable gains instead of thinking that you got lucky and chose 1,000x or 100x gem. And then thirdly is revenge trading. So this is battling your own psychology to avoid compounding losses. So moonbag strategy is pretty easy. So if something cost you $1,000 or 6.5 SOL, and now it's worth $5,000, so it's a 5x. So now it's worth 32.5 SOL. The moonbag strategy would be basically you taking your initial $1,000, so your initial 6.5 SOL, and then a little bit on top of that. So it might be 20%, might be 10%. It's really up to you. You need to take a little bit of it just in case it goes back down to zero. You don't feel stupid. So that's basically the moonbag strategy. So in this case, the math would work out that you would take out 13 SOL of the 32.5 SOL, and you'd leave like approximately, I don't know, like 12 SOL left over or whatever the math is there. The remainder would be left in the coin because you think it still has room to run. Obviously, you can feel free to adjust these numbers, but that's basically the concept. Um, and then the second one here, predictability. So being consistent with your gains. So this kind of helps visualize it, but for the majority of people, they're in this outer scope, this easier one. So it's where it's easier to, oh, the numbers are messed up, but we'll go by these numbers. So in this outer scope, it's easier to get that 20. I fixed the numbers. But basically, in this outer scope, it's much more likely for the general trader, the beginner trader, to land a 20 to 50% profitability. You can secure this within a few hours of a trade pretty easily. And then the second scope here, as it gets deeper, a 50 to 80% profitability rate. It takes a little more time and diligence, but you'll get higher profit margins out of it. And then the third circle is 80 to 100% profitability. This is higher skill. You need a better entry point. You need to be watching the charts closer. And then 150% is very early, or you got a good entry. These are harder to find. And, in this inner scope as well, that's where you can also find like the 5Xs, the 10Xs, the 1,000%, the 500% returns. But again, it's in this very small tier of the circle. So for most people, if you're a beginner, you kind of just want to hover between these two. Anytime your coin, the meme coin is already at a 50% rate or 40% rate or whatever, 80%, I just pull out. Like I don't give it a second thought. Um, Especially if you have purchased the Wallet Hunter bot, then you will be getting these calls, quite a few times a day. You'll see different coins that are being signaled and alerted. So there's no way you can be monitoring like 8, 12 different coins, charts all open on different tabs. You'd be a maniac just staring at the screen all day. So that's why I choose this strategy, is because it's just quicker in and out kind of thing, and it's more predictable. Um, and then the last concept here is revenge trading. So this is, yeah, basically battling your own psychology. And this is what it looks like when someone is revenge trading. So here you can see made 14%. I'm going to put it into this next coin. It starts going down, you lose 42%. Better than the next coin. Start going down 35%. So it all compounds, and like the gains don't add up to cover the losses. So it's very easy to fall into this trap. And basically, yeah, this is when you ignore logic. You're driven entirely by emotion, and you start, betting on risky things. You exhibiting risky behavior. For me, I'll get into this state if like it's really late and like I'm already tired, and I'll think, oh, okay, I'll just put this much in. It'll be quick. And you watch the chart, and it's down like 15% immediately. It's like, frig. and you just start getting frustrated because it was something you wanted to hold for a short term, and then it's already down. So it's just kind of stupid to get into this. Um, but yeah, so just don't be into revenge trading. Generally, you want to hold a position. Like if you're going to buy into something, you have to be prepared to at least make 50% profit. So you have to assume that by the time you buy it, you click buy, it'll be down 15% instantly, basically, because of swap fees and slippage and all that. Um, and then, yeah, so you have to assume that by the time you click it, it will be up 50%. Something will drive it to go up 50%. Maybe you got in early, maybe like, there's going to be a big tweet announcement or something. I don't know, but basically, yeah, that's how revenge trading works. When this happens, you should take a break and you should journal and review your emotional state. This is really important. If you review and like journal how you're feeling, then over time you'll have like a collection of your notes, and you could go back and read them. And it's kind of like you can view the the programming that you were running on at the time, and you can kind of like just read over your mistakes and learn from the experiences, and then remain disciplined. And usually when you write stuff out, it makes it very obvious what was going wrong. So I highly recommend it. It's journaling and reviewing your emotional state. So to summarize again, we talked about the moonbag strategy, which is taking your initial plus 20% or whatever it may be for you, and then landing predictable gains instead of hoping for 150x, 100% x, whatever. Um, and yeah, revenge trading, being aware of revenge trading. And this is when you ignore logic, when you're very tired, you're driven by emotion, the losses will compound and you'll end up losing more, rather than if you compared to if you had just like did nothing and stood still. So yeah, that's the lesson for today. There's one more lesson in the classroom, and then after that I'll be closing this free school and moving on to another one.